gave me some gift certificates to the Honey Hut ice cream. That's not why he's here today, though. We were here to talk. Last Sunday, by the way, he called in the passing of a good friend of the program here, and that was Bob Allen. But Bob Allen was more than just a friend of this program, Paul. He was just a wonderful person, a wonderful human being, and did an awful lot of good things for our society, didn't he?
He did.
Tell us about him.
Well, number one, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here to talk about Bob Allen. I met Bob Allen through Owen Kilbane, and when Owen gave me his phone number, he said, get a hold of this guy. He's a Harley rider. He's a good guy. And get a hold of him. You two will get along. So I got a hold of Bob, called him up, had coffee, hit it off with him right from day one. After that, I helped him start the Pros and Cons Network, Owen Kilbane's program that he has in Grafton Prison that he started. And we continued to run that program inside the prison and outside the prison. I was part of the...
What does it do?
Pardon me?
What is the program do?
The program is it's dedicated to helping inmates stay out. And
when they come out?
When they come out. It's a reentry program. We help them with housing. We help them with jobs. We help them with transportation. Anything they need so that they don't reoffend. That's all the program is dedicated about, is to not reoffend. And we don't want anybody going back, and that's Owen's goal in life, is to not have anyone reoffend. He wants them to get out and stay out and be a productive member of society.
How many years ago did you guys set this up?
10 years ago is when I got involved with Owen. After my dad passed away, I got to talk to Owen. My dad was a friend of Owen Kilbane's, and I got to talk to Owen about that. Would go out and visit him, and between me and Bob Allen, we started the Pros and Cons Network on the streets. He had it running inside the prison, and we got to run it on the streets.
Bob was a street guy, wasn't he?
He was. Bob was a street guy.
I remember we had him here on the program, and JC was the one that introduced me to him. And JC, you can jump in on this if you want to. We had a great interview with him here, and the funny thing, I was looking back on some photographs just the other night, and I have a lot of photographs of Bob here at our station. But JC, you knew him quite well too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was again introduced to him through Brian and also through Owen, and I had interviewed him to get the background on what Pros and Cons was all about. Very positive program. Very positive program. And also, Brian, you might mention the first time ever eulogy for Bob that was held inside the prison in Grafton. It has never been done before. You want to talk about that?
Absolutely, yes.
He must have been a very impressive character for the prison system to allow that even.
He was. It was unprecedented that an inmate that could have their memorial service in Grafton Prison. And he had been out for 10 years, but he made such an impact on the inmates and the community that they allowed myself to come in with Bob's daughter and a former corrections officer that had been in Grafton. And we had a very moving ceremony and memorial service for Bob Allen, and there was many people that got up and spoke about the good things that Bob had done, and that he had come back in with the Pros and Cons Network after he had gotten out. And most people don't do that. When they get released out of prison, especially doing the time that he did, they said, no offense, but I wouldn't have came back. But Bob was a different kind of guy, so he was always giving back. We had our own radio show, the Bob and Brian Big House show in Oberlin College.
That's right, Oberlin College, right? Cool.
Yes, we did that for 2 years every Sunday. And we spoke about prison issues and always highlighted the Pros and Cons Network. And we did that until Bob wasn't feeling well enough to go out and do it.
Now,
I did.
Brian, I know a lot of people are listening to us now, and they're saying, why was Bob in prison in the first place?
Bob was in prison. It was on a murder charge that was self-defense basically, and Owen had talked to him about getting in touch with the detectives that had put him in.
And they were the investigators.
Yes,
Time, right?
yes. So when they did look into it, they realized that Bob had been in there longer than he really should have on clearly self-defense. So Owen had talked him into contacting him. He was the catalyst for Bob to start writing letters and to talk to the detective. And they came and found out that he needed to be out. The amount of time.
It was really self-defense, huh?
Yes, yes. They found that out. It just wasn't explained that way during his trial. So
Was it a jury trial?
I believe so. Yes, yes,
So the prosecutor was able to convince the jury
yes.
that it wasn't self-defense. Huh?
The detective came out and spoke at his parole board hearing and said this was clearly self-defense and that Mr. Allen had done his time and he was.
So, in the 10 years since he came out, he really paid his debt to society, didn't he?
He
Probably
paid more.
more than he owed, a lot more than he owed.
Absolutely. He gave back in so many ways when, we did our radio show and we would go to re-entry fairs and we would talk to people about getting the inmates that had been released to stay out and offer them housing and give them all the links to everything they would need to get and stay out. So that was Owen's main goal, is just to get the inmates that had been released to stay out.
How badly do we need, as a society, programs like this program particularly, and programs like it, to keep prisoners from reoffending?
Absolutely. This is the main program that Owen Kilbane he had came up with. That it's a blueprint to stay out, just to make stand-up guys and to make people accountable and to teach people respect, accountability, give them integrity, give them loyalty to the program and support the program.
Now you and Bob and people like you see young people today, 18, 20-year-olds, they're tough guys. Do you ever get a chance to pull them aside and say, look, here's what happened to me. If you keep doing what you're doing, this is where you're going to end up. Do you ever get a chance to do that with young people?
Yes, we did. Bob and I got to go to the juvenile detention centers, and we got to speak to the young kids. And Bob had the street credibility, that he could explain it in a way that they would understand, coming from somebody that had done a long life bit and was looking at a life bit. They would take his information and his advice to heart.
Was he a tough guy when he was young?
Oh yeah, yeah, tough but not mean. Kind of like John Wayne, a tough guy but not mean.
Yeah.
He had a heart of gold.
Well, it's a shame that he's gone, because I'm sure he had a lot to contribute. He was only about 71 or 72.
71, yeah.
Yeah, the last time he was in here, he looked hale and hearty, and he just was a nice guy, I thought.
Oh, he was the best. When I met him, I became best friends with him from the minute I met him. We were just on the same wavelength. We rode Harleys everywhere, from the turnpikes to the back roads, and we had put a lot of miles on together. And when I would call him up and say, hey Bob, you want to go riding? He would say, yeah, what time are you going to be here?
Which kind of Harley did you have?
I have a touring bike,
Oh, okay.
and Bob has a Fat Boy.
Do you know what I'm thinking though? I'm thinking the best memorial to Bob Allen is this program to continue.
Yes.
And you guys to be successful with it. Have you got other people somebody to take Bob's place in this?
Those shoes are too big to fill right now, but I'm looking for a few people that have gotten out that are willing to help me out. So we're gonna explore that. Right now, it's just been kind of a shock that Bob's gone, and it's been a rough road to go since he's been passed. And I'm going to miss my riding buddy. And when I used to call him up to ask him to go riding, he would say yes. He would never say, where are we going, what time we coming back. He would just say, what time do you want me to pull the bike out, what time are you going to be here. He never questioned that. We rode a lot.
Aren't you guys getting a bit old for that?
Nope, not at all.
No.
I'll throw my leg over it until my last breath. That's just how I am.
You're not getting a little wobbly on that bike?
Not at all. Not at all. No, actually, I go to the gym and I'm getting stronger as I get older.
I don't know if you know Pat McLaughlin. He comes in here. Patrick McLaughlin. He was the U.S. Attorney for Northern Ohio. He comes in here usually every Memorial Day because he was a Vietnam veteran. And he's 78 now, and he told me he's still riding this Harley.
I will ride until my last breath. There's no doubt about that. I'm a true Harley rider.
Now, what I want to come back and talk to you about, I'm going to go back to some music and some commercials. I want to come back and talk to you about this ice cream store that your family has owned for 50 years called Honey Hot Ice Cream. And we're going to give away some little gift certificates to it, right?
Sure. Sounds
So anyway,
good. Sounds good.
All
Jim.
right.
So we all kind of pitched in a little bit here and there, and we're still running today with all of our kids in the business.
So the next generation are in it now, huh?
Right now, yes.
That's amazing.
We have my daughters in it and my nieces and nephews, and it's a family-run business. And we've got 5 brick and mortar stores and at least a dozen Metro Park accounts, and we're also in the Cleveland Zoo. Last year was our first year. We just got in the zoo, and they built a nice building for us, and it's a beautiful building.
Brian, would you say running a family business demands a lot of compromising?
It does. It does. When everyone has a passion for ice cream like we do, you'll get in some heated discussions about what's best for the business.
And the way to run it.
Yeah, what's best for the business, and that's all we look out for is what's best for the business and to keep our business in the light that we are in. It's the best ice cream that can be made, and that's the way we make our ice cream with the thought of the best ice cream in the world.
Do you make it right from, as they say in cooking, from scratch?
Yes, we have our own private blend that they make for us, and we make our ice cream and add honey to it, and we make the best ice cream. We were voted top 100 in the world last year, so that was a big.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal for us. Yes, we also were voted best ice cream in Northeast Ohio through a blind taste test and not through a popularity contest, and done by foodies and not people like myself.
Now, do you sell quarts and half gallons, and you don't just sell ice cream cones, do you?
we sell quarts and pints, and we also have some supermarket accounts. We had just opened up by the Cleveland Clinic at the new Myers. The new Myers grocery chain has a store on East 105 and Cedar, and they just opened up last week, and you can get our product in there.
Oh. Now, Quinn, are you listening to that? I hope so. We need to patronize our friends, but besides, they have a great product, right?
Absolutely.
You're very pretty, Bob. You see, I mean, not Bob, right. Brian. You seem very proud of this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Being in the business for 50 years, that's kind of all I've known. I've always had 2 jobs. I was a steel worker for 25 years, and then I retired from there and worked at the Cleveland Clinic main campus for 15 years. But I've always had my hand.
I just love you. The passion for business. Isn't it something how you get yourself stuck in a business and you just don't want to leave it?
Not this business, no. People come up, they're smiling when they come up to get our ice cream, and they have bigger smiles when they leave the window.
Now, a lot of these places you can sit down inside.
Solon, we have a sit down in Solon. Right.
You're out there too?
Yes, we're in Solon on Miles Road, right down the street from Miles Farmers Market.
So most of them are drive up in your car and get out and get your ice cream?
Yes, we have outdoor seating at all of them, so we've got some nice tables and benches, and you can come and sit.
Well, I'm going to be watching this summer now, but you are open on the weekends. Maybe I'll stop in there and get a gallon.
Absolutely.
Or different flavors?
Yes, we've got over a dozen flavors that we keep year-round, and the special flavors we have once a month.
Now, Russ, I want you to go to the other phone out of the studio, and I'm going to give the phone number out. People can win $10 of gift certificates from Honey Hot Ice Cream. If you call us right now, if you're
the phones are ringing.
The third caller.
Yeah.
Third caller,
And we need
Here's
an address. We need an address, Russ.
We need a name,
He
an
knows.
address,
Okay, good.
and we put it in the
Thanks.
mail to you.
Yes.
I put it in the mail to you. So Russ Davis is going to be taking the phone calls at 216-901-0945. That's 216-901-0945. Stick
Jerry.
around. Stick
Yeah, but
around.
Jerry, if you're an ice cream aficionado, I'm telling you, if you hadn't had honey hut ice cream, it is life changing. It is delicious. It is one of the best tasted in,
Oh, it's
worldwide.
It's
definitely.
life-changing.
It is.
Come on.
It is so
It
good.
is.
The
It is.
salted
I agree
caramel.
with you on
The
that.
salted caramel is the new all-time
All
favorite.
Caramel, I'm there.
Yes, that's right.
You've had it
Absolutely.
before, though.
Oh, Jerry, I'm telling you, the State Road one, if you're waiting in line and you're waiting in line for half an hour, you meet friends, you meet family, you meet people, and it's worth the wait. It's worth the wait.
All
Yeah,
right.
so good.
Listen, John O'Neill. I got to talk to John O'Neill. Maybe he'd bring the ice cream to his nursing homes. Here he is. Here's John.
One in a million, but Bob was truly a one in a million.
I
He
remember
was.
when he was on the program. Really impressed me. I enjoyed having him, and I was so sorry to hear that he had died because I'd seen a picture of him recently, and I said to myself, I gotta have him back on. And then found out he's gone.
Yeah, I was with him his last final days and his last final hours, and it was just a blessing to be with him. He passed like we'd all like to pass, in our sleep, quiet and comfortable, and you couldn't have asked for a way to pass. We all would like to pass that way in our sleep. I know for sure.
When he was a young fellow running the streets of Cleveland and creating mischief, I'm sure he never thought that someday he would leave a mark on society that people really appreciate.
He didn't think that, I'm sure, back then, but the way his life was after he got out, he gave back to so many people and was such a kind person and a giving person, and he would always go to the children to the youth and wanted to change their behavior before it got to a problem where they ended up incarcerated.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, thank you. What is that, Colleen? I can't
PJ
see-
McIntyre's.
We did.
Do we do it?
PJ?
Okay,
Go
good.
ahead.
No, just a PJ's coming up. Crawley and Safranco were last night, but Half Cracked is today. So enjoy
they're
some
there.
Half Cracked. Yes.
They're supposed to be coming.
Oh,
to
it's the
program.
28th. I'm sorry. They were last night.
Wait a minute.
It's last night, Jerry. Last night.
Oh, it's
So I was
last
off.
night.
I'm so
Too
sorry.
late.
But yeah, too late. But PJ's has live music on the weekends. So thank you. Good. Yes.
Jerry, I interviewed Bob for a story on the Kilbane brothers that appeared in the Irish Echo newspaper, and it was titled "Time Enough for the Kilbanes." They had done more than enough years, where today these people get 8-9 years for murder, and it's been I don't know how many, 50 years maybe now.
50 years, yeah, closing in on 50
Closing
years.
in on
yes.
50 years, and
Terrible.
I was an early advocate for him, like Brian has been.
Okay. I know you guys have worked hard on trying, doing your best to get the Kilbanes out, especially seeing that they did not do the crime as the detective and the prosecutor at the time said later on, actually. So we won't get into that. That could be a whole entire program. I remember Mike Trevisano doing a full program on that a few years ago. It was very good. I think he went right to Grafton Prison and did it. So all we can do is hope for the best. Brian,
Thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you for coming in.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you
the
for
ice
the
cream, for all
opportunity.
the ice cream.
And we had a winner,
I want to
Jerry.
give Tom Kelly one of those gift certificates because he looks like a guy
You
that
had to
likes
sit
ice
it
cream.
though.
You mind? Anyway, Frank Patterson is standing by, and he's going to sing "America the Beautiful."